Good evening to you all, and I promise I won't be holding you for much longer before we go over to the important stuff that is waiting outside. I'd just like to say thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to send you greetings from all the Nordic countries, from the Nordic embassies here in Tallinn and in Helsinki, and also on behalf of all of us, thanking also, of course, the Nordic Council of Ministers for organizing this event. So here I am. My name is Mikael, and I'm born in the 1960s. So I guess that disqualifies me from standing here on this stage. And even more so, since my last name is Eriksson, which is not gender neutral at all. Eriksson means the son of Eric. But I guess if there is some reason for me being here, the first reason is, of course, that Sweden happens to hold the rotating presidency of the Nordic Council of Ministers. So that's why I'm here speaking, hopefully, on behalf of all the Nordic countries. But also maybe because I'm the proud representative of a feminist government, a government that has officially proclaimed itself as being feminist, pursuing feminist policies both nationally and internationally, globally. As a diplomat, I should probably be a little bit careful because we are in the middle of a government-forming process, and we don't know yet who will be the next prime minister or foreign minister, but I think it's fair to say that even though rhetorics might change a little bit, we don't know that yet, but I think that the general consensus in Sweden concerning the role of gender equality and gender policies in public life is a shared concern throughout the political spectrum. I think that it's fair to say here that even though we have the national arena where we do things like parental leave, by the way, here I think there's still some way to go. I don't think still that there is a 6 months for men and 6 months for women. I think men tend to take less than women do. But I agree with you, Christian, when you say that it's also a matter of organizational culture. And my own organization, which is the Ministry for Foreign Affairs, I can say with certainty that it's not a disadvantage, career-wise, to have been off on parental leave for male workers. So I think culture is changing. But what is perhaps more specific and has been in the media lately is the feminist foreign policy of this government. It's a priority in our security policy, and it's also a priority in our development assistance cooperation. We have quite a substantial program. It's about 4 billion euros per year. So that's a vast amount of money that we spend, and gender equality is one of our main priorities. So you can see that there is also a resource aspect to this. However, I think it's also important to be a little bit self-critical. This is 1 year after Me Too. That was in November 2017. Sweden is ranked as one of the most equal countries in the world, but still there is much to do, I think, in industry, but also in the liberal arts market. And maybe even more so there, I would say. And this is my personal reflection, but I think that if companies realize that there is a red line, which is profit, and that gender equality is good for profits, then maybe that's a good reason for not discriminating against women after all. In some of the other sectors, liberal arts, science, you don't have that red line to the same extent. And I think, personally, that what you have seen in Sweden over the past year is very much focus being put on those sectors where we have some distance to go still. But in industry and business, I believe there are still sectors where action is very much needed. I think reference was already made to the fact that sectors such as venture capital, investment, banking, you have a virtual lack of women also within Swedish business and industry. So that is to say that we have a long way to go also in Sweden. Just one more thing, because I'd like to finish by quoting the Swedish champion of a feminist foreign policy, which is our foreign minister, who was recently in New York to participate in the United Nations Security Council meeting, where Sweden is a non-permanent member. We have been for almost 2 years now, and we're looking forward to seeing Estonia as hopefully a new member for the 2020-2021 period. But she was in the Security Council discussing precisely what we've been discussing today, women's participation. And one of the things she said I found very nicely put. She said, no woman needs to be given a voice. They actually have a voice of their own. What is needed is more listening. And I think that's a good way of ending our membership of the Security Council in the United Nations. Now, with that, I won't keep you any longer, so I would just like to, on behalf of the Nordic embassies in Tallinn and Helsinki, invite you all to some refreshments outside. If someone cares to go with me to listen to another speech about Ingmar Bergman, you're welcome to do so, but I have to leave in a few moments because we have another event going on in another part of Tallinn. So please enjoy, and thank you to all the organizers for a very good day today. Thank you.
Thank you.